Khushal Khan Khattak, or Khushal Khan Khattak, is one of the greatest explorers. And when I say explorers, I don't mean the exploration and the missionary and the chartered companies things connected to colonialism. I mean the exploration of the human soul. Khushal, as an explorer of the human soul through his songs of love and hate, home and exile, joy and sorrow, patriotism and piety, is one of the Pashtun people, a very land gentleman and a noble warrior who left with us the reality that humankind has lived. Hello, my name is Kelly Ramapeda for Ramapedia. This time round we are taking you to modern day Afghanistan and Pakistan. In those hills, the rugged hills between these two countries where the Pashtun people lived in the 1600s. We are in the Mughal Empire of that time, but particularly we are looking at Khushal Khan Khattak as a man, as a tribal leader, a very strong man of his time, of the Pashtun tribe. This man, we have a lot to talk about him, but we are going to look at just one of his poem called As I Look On. It's a poem, but through this poem we will look at the people of that time, of his tribe, what was taking place in the Middle East and elsewhere, just using his one simple poem. Also to know the social fabrics of that time. But before we continue, let me ask you please to subscribe to our YouTube channel, this channel Ramapedia. We are the only channel that appreciate works of art and criticize such that you, our audience, can really understand what people of some time wanted to communicate to their audience and to us particularly. So we are going to look at this poem, As I Look On, of Khushal Khan Khattak. Khushal Khan Khattak was a fighter, a warrior, while many enemies found demise on his sword. Khushal Khan Khattak fell prey of gorgeous romance. He loved women so much, he loved ladies, and in hundreds of his poems he is depicted as, he writes poems and you find that it's like he's dying of some piercing eyes from women. So he loved women so much. We will look at this in future because this is not the first time we are going to look at Khushal Khan Khattak. We will analyze many of his works. Please be visiting our YouTube channel. This poem, As I Look On, I want to read the first stanza. As I look on, I am amazed at this world's denizens, just seeing what these dogs will do to satisfy their flesh. The works of art are what is happening in the writer, in the owner of the work of art, as regards to the environment around them. He's bringing this picture that people were wicked to that extent that even Satan, the devil, could look at these things and he says, no, these ones have surpassed me, an evildoer. So he comments that they bring Koran, the holy book, Koran. They read before people, but what they do, their actions do not conform with what they read in the Koran. We have this challenge so much, not only in the Quran, the Bible, with Christians, and in our countries with patriotism. People come before us and they tell us we should love our country, we should do ABCD. Their children don't study in that country. They don't buy anything from their country. But when they stand before the masses, they tell them we should love our country. Patriotism is what should be our greatest value. Such things. So Khushal Khan Khattak is attacking that idea that people bring before others, telling them ABCD is right, but when themselves do not do those ABCDs they are telling other people. So good people who walk their talk are very rare. That's what Khushal Khan Khattak is communicating to his audience of today. He explains his idea by bringing family in the middle of this poem, and he says that however much he counsels him and gives him sound advice, not even his own father's word does he consider good. Now there are two people in this stanza, the one who counsels and the one being counseled. I haven't read the Pashtun language version of this poem, but in this English version, you cannot know who is not heeding the father's word. We don't know who counsels who. Whether it's this one who counsels who doesn't take his father's words as good, or this one who is being counseled who doesn't take his father's words as good. This stanza brings clear the whole idea that we've been looking at, that these people in this society are wicked. The counselor is not good, and the one being counseled is not good, because none of them listens to their father's word. So he goes on to talk of that the Pathans, the Pashtun people, are better than the rest in the Mughal Empire. This is the reality. These people of the Pashtun people had very many values that you cannot find anywhere on earth even today. When someone seeks refuge in their land, that someone is entitled to protection at any cost. This is a hardcore warrior society. They could be fighting all the time. So if you are a group of people pursuing someone and this person lands into the Pashtun people, they could fight to the last, protecting that person who has sought refuge in their land. Now, today, we don't have this value. If you get a problem in your country and you seek refuge in another country, your country will call the other country and they extradite you, they bring you back, or they arrest you there. You will not have any protection there. Still, the people you are running away from will get you wherever you go. So there is nowhere to hide currently, but these people could protect you at whatever cost. So eventually, this land became a land of refuge. Many people think of people in the Middle East as hostile people, but that's just the way they are projected in films and whatever. But this is their value. I think they still have it now. You run into their land, you have this protection throughout. So they had these values, and he's wondering why there are no people who are like their forefathers. He's wondering. But when you look at the history of these forefathers he mentions, these were warriors of their tribe who went and conquered India. They were kings there for over 100 years, I think. Khushal bringing these people in the middle of the poem, it sounds like he's calling upon his people to rebel against the present regime of the Mughal Empire. I think this is what he's saying, because he could not say it directly, but the fact that he talks of warriors of their time of long ago who defeated several lands, it's like he's calling upon his people to defeat the common enemy, this empire that is ruling over them. He is seeking independence for the Pashtun people. He's seeking independence for Afghanistan and Pakistan at that time. You know, the theme of independence has changed history everywhere. Very many people seek independence. Empires are brought down. The Roman Catholic Church that ruled the world in religious affairs and political affairs was brought down by just people, Protestants who sought independence, and in the end they lost a grip over very many nations. They're just coming up currently. Throughout history, there is that urge for being independent and freedoms of people to pursue happiness in their own ways. So this is what Khushal is talking about in his poem. So he concludes by wondering what's happening to people of his time. But this way of wondering, we also have it because we wonder if we are actually living to the values of our forefathers. Find that yourself, when you look at yourself, the kind of wealth you have, you find that people who were before you were wealthier than you are. Your great grandfathers had land, had what, and you were just meandering in towns and what. This problem is also happening to Khushal, because he looked, he judged himself, he judged the men, the people he was living with, the Pashtun people of that tribe, and they were not to the level of their forefathers, who were great warriors who defeated very many enemies. They don't have the unity that is needed for his tribe to be independent. This is Khushal Khan Khattak, or Khushal Khan Khattak, as the Pashtun people said. I thank you so much. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of things to bring to you about this Khushal Khan Khattak. In the near future, in a few days, we'll be bringing you very many other videos, and even other videos of works of art from around the world, appreciating and criticizing works of art. This is the only channel that does it throughout the world. You can look all over YouTube, you will not find where such a thing is done. I thank you so much. My name is Kelly Ramapera. We thank you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.